Peace. What's up, everybody? So we're back to talk about this new moon in Gemini that happened on May the 25th, 2025. Now, this new moon in Gemini is happening at 6 degrees in the sign of Gemini, activating the third house in the asteroid Iris. So Gemini in the third house are all about communication. It's all about learning, early learning, all about your community, your surroundings. This could be including your relatives, your siblings, the people you grew up around. All of these things can come back up around Gemini season. Gemini is an air sign, so it's all about communication. So there's a lot of communication, socializing happening. It also is a sign that likes to learn. It likes to come up with ideas. It likes to be curious about, exploring new, exciting things, okay? It also rules technology. Now, I also want to add into this full interpretation that Mercury, which rules Gemini, has just entered into Gemini, all right, along with this new moon in Gemini. So that just doubles down on communication, socializing. There's a lot of mental activity. There's a lot of conversations happening right now. And the asteroid Iris talks about honesty. It talks about the truth. So a lot of these conversations are revolving around being honest and being very truthful right now. Now, this is a very lighthearted energy, in my opinion, and I really appreciate it. So these conversations don't have to be necessarily tough or down or dark, which they can be. But I find this being conversations of honesty and truth, maybe about certain ideas that you have, certain people that you're interested in, certain places that you're interested in going to. All of those things could be brought up right now as well. Which takes us to the opposition to the asteroid Hidalgo in the sign of Sagittarius, activating the ninth house. So this is a sign that's all about exploration, okay, and taking risks. So right now is a good time to take some risk on things that you desire to go see. If you desire to travel a long distance, a foreign place, go for it. Look into it, of course, but don't hesitate. Right now is a good time. Also, if you want to explore higher education, or you're getting the nudge to want to go deeper into a certain topic, explore that right now. Take that risk, because actually it can work in your favor in somehow. And really how it can work in your favor is through just broadening your mind, broadening your horizons, introducing you to new perspectives, and just new ways of living can come about right now through you exploring higher education, or just exploring outside of your community even right now. And so this takes us into our next square to the sign of Virgo, which is activating the asteroid Achilles in the 6th house. All right, so this energy here is a bit of a cautionary asteroid, and it's basically just cautioning you to be mindful of the messages that you are communicating at this time. Also be cautious of the information that you are consuming at this time. If you are receiving some type of advice from maybe a therapist or a counselor or a mentorship program at this time, be mindful of that information that you're getting. Make sure that you're not just solely just taking it all in as truth, but also doing your own meditation and stillness with that information, and making sure that it's all adding up, because there is room for miscommunications or mix-ups, things of that nature. And while we're on the lines of that, let's speak about Saturn, which just entered into the sign of Aries, also on the 25th during this new moon in Gemini. So Saturn was 29 degrees Pisces for a while, but also Saturn was just in the sign of Pisces for 2.5 years. So now that Saturn has entered into Aries, this is an entire new season. This is an entire new energy for the collective for the next 2.5 years. So this is a very exciting time for a lot of the collective. This is a time to get a head start on anything you felt like you haven't had the energy to pursue, or things that you feel like maybe have just gotten out of your hands and you're no longer able, you had a moment where you were no longer able to pursue it for whatever reason. This is a time where you can get back on track with those tasks or those things that you enjoy doing, or even those responsibilities that you wanted to get back into doing. So Saturn is at fall in the sign of Aries, so he doesn't do his absolute best. But me personally, Saturn, which is all about discipline, authority, responsibilities, hard work. And then you have Aries, which is this fire sign, right? I feel like when these two energies link up, it can bring a lot of stamina, okay? So you can be more determined to put in that extra mile, or to put in that extra energy. You can really persevere, all right? So it can bring about a lot of stamina and perseverance if you are seeking to get back in alignment with your life. You got a gym routine, or you got a certain place that you want to travel, or you got a certain learning curve that you want to get over. This energy can really support that at this time. So with that in mind as well, Saturn was in Pisces though, okay, for the past 2.5 years, all right? And Pisces and Gemini square one another, okay? And so we just had this new moon in Gemini, which is what we're talking about. But we've had a lot of transits that transition from Pisces to Gemini over the past weekend throughout this Gemini new moon. So again, just be mindful that you dotted all your I's, dotted all your T's. If you have a case that you are presenting right now, if you have lessons that you are currently learning right now from someone else, maybe you are presenting some type of information, you're speaking your truth, you're speaking out against something, you're telling someone how you feel about them, make sure you're double checking things, make sure you're going over your notes again, playing it back in your head, speaking it out loud. All of those things would be very helpful right now, especially, with all of the energy that we had transitioning from Pisces to Aries, and, just all the Gemini mental energy. So this is a really lighthearted energy. I feel like this is really the start of freshness for a lot of people, okay? So I hope that a lot of people are in alignment with that energy. Also, we have a full moon in Sagittarius on June 11th. So with this being a new moon in Gemini, this is the time to set really good intentions. If you're seeking to learn something, if you're seeking to travel somewhere, if you want to present a case to someone or something, right now is a good time to put in that work, to gather that information, to fact check, all right? And then by the full moon on the 11th, you'll pretty much have any questions answered, be well prepared to explore new terrain, whatever it may be. But this could really be a good point to set those intentions, and by the full moon in Sagittarius on the 11th, there could be a whole completion that you could manifest and see. So without further ado, peace.